YouTube, what's happening? It's Friday, but we're still talking college football. But now we've turned our attention to the Saturday games. The way it's going to work this week, I'm going to spend about 45 seconds to a minute per game. This is going to be rapid fire. We're moving through these. Now, if it's a bigger game, it'll get closer to a minute. What I'm going to do is we're going to throw this up on the screen per game. We're going to talk about who's done what, look at the numbers, but then we're also going to pop over here to their schedules and see, have you had a nice cupcake-filled schedule to start the year where your games have been pretty easy? Or have you had more of a tougher schedule like Michigan here, who's played Texas and USC? So we want to see who you have played. What have you done this year so far? We'll talk about that. We'll make a pick. We'll make a lean. If I don't have to play at all, I'll just tell you. So I'll tell you what I'm going for each play, and then we'll move on to the next one. Sound good? Simple enough. So enough talking. Let's jump into that first game right now. All right, first game, Minnesota, Michigan. First thing you see, there's a lot of damn red on the screen. The offenses are not good for either team. We know this. Michigan's good at running the ball, but it's about it. They can't really throw that much. Minnesota's defense looks good, but as you saw in the intro, their schedule has been quite the easy trek so far. Michigan had a much rougher schedule. Texas, USC, not exactly the easiest schedule to go out there with. So that is going to influence Texas's defensive stats. Yeah, your one-on-one passing when you're going up against Quinn Ewers and Miller Moss from USC. Yeah, you're not going to be too good when it comes to the pass defense, but the run defense is still good. So sometimes stats aren't always the thing. That's why we look at the schedule to see who they've done, who they played against. So for me, Michigan, there's 10.5. This number is the ESPN number. There are 10s out there. I have seen them. There's 9.5s out there, but I'm going to take 10 because that's more of a common number right now. I'm not going to take the total. 34 seems kind of so we're going to focus on Michigan minus 10, move on to the next game. All right, we got Kentucky and Ole Miss, and you can see the numbers on the right side are absolutely laughable. They're so easy because we already know Ole Miss's schedule's cake. Kentucky famously has played Georgia, so let's just pop over and show the schedules. Ole Miss has Furman, Middle Tennessee, Georgia Southern at Wake Forest. Come on, easy 4-0 right there. Kentucky had Southern Miss, South Carolina, Georgia, Ohio. So yeah, Ole Miss hasn't been tested. They just haven't. Hence the reason their numbers are great. Kentucky's not going to test them today. Will it be closer to anything Ole Miss has done so far? Probably. But that's why I'm still taking Ole Miss minus 16. I got to. They're at home. They're in the Grove. Kentucky's offense is not of this century. It's last year. They don't know how to throw the ball, and they're going to run, and that's like something Ole Miss is really good at. So for me, I'm taking Ole Miss minus 16. If you want to have some more fun, maybe look at Kentucky team total under, but I'm going to stick with Ole Miss 16 next. All right, Oklahoma State, K-State, battle of ranked teams, both 3-1. K-State 5.5, 57.5 is your total. Looking at the numbers, Oklahoma State can pass the ball. K-State not the best at stopping the pass, but Oklahoma State's defense is terrible, running and passing. So K-State is going to be able to run all over them. So that tells me right there, if one side can't stop the other one can't stop the other, and what they're good at, over 57.5. This is a simple play. That's what I'm going with. We'll look at the offenses and the schedule, see what they've done. UT Martin, Tulane, Arizona, BYU. K-State got obliterated by BYU, but it shouldn't have been that close. It should have been much closer, because of, you just have to watch the game and see. So, then look at Oklahoma State. You can see what they've done. Utah got them by 3. I just think this is going to be a high-scoring game. So based on what the matchups are, so for me, I am going to take this over 57.5 and move on next. All right, BYU Baylor. I think BYU is being slept on again. They're plus 3, 46.5. Let's pop and look at some Shedgies real quick. Baylor had the overtime, Hail Mary, all that fun stuff. They dominated Air Force. Utah got them by 11, and Tarleton State. BYU, SIU, SMU, Wyoming, and K-State. I still think BYU is being slept on a little bit, even though they're ranked now. They're ranked, yes, but they're plus 3 on the road. I like that. Based on this information, Baylor can't hold on to the ball. Both defenses are pretty good. Look at these numbers. BYU's offense is a little bit better, but not by much. 122nd third down is crazy. Yeah, this feels like a field goal game. It just does. And if you made me pick gun to head, I can't take the over, so I'm just going to stick with BYU plus 3 in this one, and let's just move on. Maryland, Indiana. We can see that Indiana by 7, 51.5. Indiana just dominated Charlotte last week. Maryland beat Villanova. You can see a lot of green numbers on the board, but the one that stands out isn't a good one. It's Maryland pass defense, 103, and Indiana's able to throw the ball. So that's going to get exploited. Maryland can't run the ball. They can throw, but Indiana's good at shutting that shit down. So let's look at their Shedgies, see what they're up to. FIU, Western Illinois, UCLA, Charlotte. UCLA is not good. Charlotte's not good. So Indiana might be a fake good team. We'll find out eventually. And we look at Maryland, UConn, Michigan State, Virginia, Villanova. I would say this is a tougher schedule, but I mean, not by much. Let's be honest. So Indiana by 7. I like that defense. I really like that defense. I like what they're doing. These two numbers right here really scare me. They really worry me. So I think I'm going to be taking Indiana -7 at home to beat Maryland next. Nebraska and Purdue. Nebraska's favored by 10 on the road. Baby Mahomes going to go in there. He just came off a loss to Illinois, who was much better than people thought, including myself. Purdue's 1-2. They got beat by Oregon State. I had Oregon State covering that game last week. I don't think Purdue was any good. I mean, look at these numbers. These numbers are trash, terrible. Let's look at their schedule real quick. Here we got Nebraska. See what you've done. UTEP, Rado, Northern Illinois, and you went to overtime. That's respectable. Purdue's schedule has been Notre Dame destroyed you by 59. Oregon State beat you by 17. Yeah, I'm taking Nebraska by 10. This is just a straight. I just don't see. Yeah, this isn't your Purdue that's going to get you at home now. This Purdue team's different. The matchups are just terrible. Nothing good. Yeah, so there's not much to talk about. Nebraska by 10 next. Next up, Buffalo, UConn. You can see UConn's favored by 5.5. We can see the numbers. Buffalo's offense is absolutely terrible, just straight garbage. Yes, they beat NIU, but NIU was not the 23rd best team in the country. And sure enough, not only did it not cover as a 13.5 point favorite, they outright lost to Buffalo. And the Buffalo defense is average at best. UConn offensively, they can run the ball like crazy. They can't really throw that much, but that's not a big deal. Defensively, they're not good. They're just not. They're bottom 20 or bottom 40, I mean. So let's look at their schedule, see what they've done. Maryland, Merrimack, Duke, FAU. Destroyed FAU. Barely lost to Duke. I mean, Maryland got them pretty good too. So Buffalo, yeah, they beat NIU, UMass, Missouri 38-0. So yeah. I mean, this is just not good at all. This game is just a total trash game. Let's be honest. I have 0 play in this game. I'm going to 100% pass next. Western Kentucky, Boston College. Looking at the numbers, we see a couple things off the bat. Western Kentucky's good at passing. BC is only 75th in pass defense, but Boston College is 43rd in rushing, and Western Kentucky can't stop nothing on defense. Look at these numbers. So I'm already leaning over. 48.5 is out there. 49.5 is an ESPN number. That's where I get the numbers from, but I'm looking at outlier, and I do see 48.5. Let's look at their actual schedules. Boston College has had a pretty tough-ish schedule. Florida State, Missouri, Michigan State, Duquesne. Western Kentucky got destroyed by Bama. Then they played FCS, then Middle Tennessee, and Toledo. So I'm leaning Boston College here, -8. I can get minus. Can we get -7? 8.5 is currently the best. No, there's 8.5. So for me, I like the over 48.5 in this. I think Boston College should be able to put up as many points as they want. West Kentucky will get some points in their own right because they're good at that. So over 48.5 next. All right, we got a hard one. We got NIU and NC State. All the numbers are screaming take NIU because look at the numbers. Every single logo is NIU because let's look at their schedules. NIU has played Western Illinois. They beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame, and they lost to Buffalo last week. After a bye week on top of that, it wasn't just they've had 2 weeks, and they still lost to Buffalo. And then NC State got destroyed by Tennessee, destroyed by Clemson, and had to come back to beat La Tech. So, I mean, what? None of this makes sense. This game makes 0 sense on paper, none of it. Stats-wise, say take NIU, but to me, I lean NC State because of who they played and what they've done. So for me, the smartest move here is to just completely pass on this game. I lean NC State. I lean NC State -7. But outside of that, I just can't officially play it. So we'll just pass on this one and move on. Well, we have a game here. Holy Cross, Syracuse. Here's Syracuse's numbers. It's a 28.5 point spread. That seems kind of low. Hold on. Let's look at some schedules real quick. We see what Syracuse has done. Ohio, Georgia Tech, Stanford, whatever. Holy Cross, what have you done? You're 1-3. You lost to Rhode Island by 3, Hampshire by 1. Bryant, you beat by 21. You lost to Yale by 7. Huh. Okay. Syracuse 20.5 might be a play, but I don't bet FCS games. I just can't do it because I don't watch them really. So there's the information, there's the schedule. Here they are. You can see they're good at passing. They're not good at running. So have fun with it. Yeah, pass next. Navy, UAB. Navy doesn't pass the ball. We know that they're military, but they do run the hell of the ball. That's for sure. And that's the one thing UAB cannot stop. They cannot stop the run worth a damn against anyone. So they're great at pass defense, but you ain't got to worry about with Navy. UAB can't throw the ball. They can kind of run the ball, but that's the one thing Navy can stop. So we're leaning Navy hard in this one. So let's look at their schedule just to be sure. We got Navy. We want their schedule. Let's see, Bucknell, Temple, Memphis. They are putting up a ton of points. Yeah, Navy's offense is on fire when it comes to running the ball. And now they're playing UAB. You cannot stop the run. And who have they played? Open the schedule up. Alcorn State, Monroe, and Arkansas. Yeah, this is a simple one. I don't care. You can get Navy -3 out there. I'm pretty sure we got some out there. But yeah, that's what I would go with. Navy -3. If I'm stuck with 3.5, I'll take it. But I'm going to try to get me a 3, and that's it. Next. All right, South Florida, Tulane. We can see both teams aren't that good at throwing the ball. South Florida's pretty good at running the ball, but we got to remember who South Florida's played too. We got to look at these numbers because look at South Florida. They played Alabama and Miami in this month, so as well as Southern Miss and Bethune. But and both games were close at halftime, but then obviously second half took over. Tulane has played FCS. They lost to K-State by 7. Oklahoma beat them, and then Louisiana almost got them. So. Looking back at the numbers, all I see is Tulane cannot stop the run. That's one thing that South Florida is good at. They don't throw the ball much, which is a good thing. That's not good for Tulane because that's the one thing they're good at stopping. So South Florida can't stop the pass, but Tulane can't throw the ball. So for me, I'm taking South Florida in this one. It's +4.5 right now. I doubt there's a 5 out there, is there? I don't think there is. Oh, there is a 5.5. Hey, +5.5. Let me get that. South Florida next. All right, Ball State, James Madison. Let's go and pop straight to the schedules. We can see what they've done. Missouri State, Miami, Central Michigan, and James Madison beat up on North Carolina to the tune of 70-50 after a 13-6 game last time. Hilarious. Let's look at what they do. Both teams are I say decent. They're orange when it comes to passing. Both teams are terrible when it comes to pass defense, with Ball State being the 3rd worst in the country. There's only 134 teams. They're 132nd. Madison's 276. So over 56.5 might be the move again. 21 is a crazy number. That's a very high number. And a lot of people are going to bet them because of the North Carolina game, what they saw. But remember, the week before, they literally won 13-6 over Gardner Damn Webb. So we don't know what type of team we're going to get. So for me, the smart move in this one is to leave this game the hell alone. I'm going to pass on it and move on to the next game. All right, next up, we got Texas State and Sam Houston. Fun little matchup. Texas State can score points. Sam Houston's defense is actually pretty decent. Texas State, they're great at stopping the run, but they can't stop the pass. Let's look at what they've done. You can see what their schedule is. Arizona State's the main one. UTSA fell off a cliff, didn't they? Sam Houston has been surprisingly good outside of the UCF game. Rice, Hawaii, New Mexico State. Yeah, okay. Looking at this information here, I see Texas State should be able. They can't run the ball very well. But they can throw the ball, but Sam Houston is just good defense all around. So, and the one thing that Sam Houston could exploit on Texas State's defense, they can't do. They can't throw. So they're going to try to run, but that's going to get stuffed. So for me personally, I see us 9.5 for Texas State. I almost lean Sam Houston +9.5, maybe +10. But to me, I'm not putting any money on this one. I'm leaving this one alone. Next game. All right, Wisconsin, USC. It's in LA. Let's look at the schedules real quick. We know Wisconsin's coming off a bye. They got beat up by Bama. USC just played Michigan. We saw what happened there. So looking at the numbers, a lot of people are going to be on this 15.5 for USC, and I don't blame them. I get it. The passing offense looks great, sure. But that's the one thing Wisconsin's good at stopping is passing teams. They can't pass themselves, but they can kind of run the ball, and that's the one thing USC can't stop. They can't stop the run worth a damn. So to me, I'm gonna go out a limb. It sounds crazy, but I'm gonna go with the numbers. Wisconsin's off a bye. We got 2 categories lined up in Wisconsin's favor. I'm gonna take Wisconsin +15 on the road at USC. Next. Louisville, Notre Dame. Notre Dame's favored by 7. We look at the numbers. Actually, let's go look at the schedule first. Notre Dame played, you can see their schedule, kind of tough, kind of some good opponents there. Louisville's kind of had a cupcake. Austin Peay and Jacksonville State are nothing. Georgia Tech, they kind of fell off after that. Florida State isn't nearly as good as we thought it was. So let's pop back over here. Louisville is all green. All their numbers are good except for their pass defense. That's the one thing Notre Dame can't do is throw the ball. They can run the ball pretty good at 18th. but they're pretty good at stopping the run at 18th. They can pass and run, but Notre Dame's good at stopping both of those. So the conventional decision here is not to take Notre Dame by -7 or Louisville minus. I'm taking the under 46.5. This game screams 21-14 final. That's what it feels like to me. So I'm going to take under 46.5 next game. Oklahoma and Auburn, and the numbers are hilarious because there's a lot of green for Auburn, but not for Oklahoma. Auburn's favored by 1. Oklahoma just played Tennessee. Auburn just got beat by Arkansas. Auburn has Georgia next week. Let's look at the schedules. Let's see what they know. Oklahoma has had Temple, Houston, Tulane, Tennessee. Kind of easy, but then the last 2 have been rough. Auburn has had easy. Cal beat them, New Mexico, and then Arkansas. So it's weird. This is a weird game overall. I don't see where points are coming from for either team. Both defenses are looking good. Oklahoma's defense is pretty damn good, and we know Auburn doesn't have much offense. Every wide receiver for Oklahoma is hurt. I saw that report. I'm like, what? And they can't really do anything anyways when it comes to this stuff. So for me, I'm gonna do the smart thing again. Who's gonna score? I don't know. Give me the under of 45. I think I can get 45 out there. Let me look at my numbers real quick. Give me. Yeah, yep, there it is, 45. Yep, under 45 next. Arkansas, A&M, let's go right to the schedules because we need to. We got to see Arkansas, their schedule, Oklahoma State, UAB, Auburn, we see what they've done. A&M's schedule has been Notre Dame, and that's about it. So you can see the numbers. Let's pop back over here. A&M by 6. Arkansas has a lot of green offensive numbers, but they can't stop the pass. But that's good because that's the one thing A&M can't do is throw the ball. So they can run the ball, but Arkansas is actually good at stopping the run. So, yeah, this tells me to take Arkansas plus 6. If we can get 7 out there, that'd be even better. I'm pretty sure it's it. Oh, yeah. 6 is a number. I guess I'll take plus 6. I just don't see where points are going to come from for A&M. So I think Arkansas coming off the win against Auburn. We can see they do have Tennessee next week, which might be a little bit of a look ahead, but I don't think so. Let me get Arkansas plus 6 in this one and move on. Next. UMass, Miami, Ohio. This is just terrible. Look at these numbers. Just look at them. They're just awful. And the defensive numbers are somewhat better in some areas. Let's look at who they played. This is going to be easy. Yeah, UMass is 1-3. They beat Central Connecticut by 4. That's it. Okay. Miami of Ohio has 0-3, but they played Northwestern Cincinnati Notre Dame. So that's why that Miami of Ohio is -17 right now because of that. So do I want to take this? Hell no. I don't want to touch this. Yeah, they're at home. UMass on the road. I don't care. No, this is a pass. Next. All right, Louisiana, Wake Forest. We see the numbers. Let's pop over the schedule real quick. Wake Forest has played 3. You can see what they've done. They lost to Ole Miss by a lot. They lost to Virginia by 1. Louisiana, Grambling, Kennesaw State got it, and then Tennessee, Tulane almost got Tulane, so pretty decent. Let's look at the numbers. The main thing that stands out, they can throw the ball and run the ball, and Wake Forest can't do neither, which is a big deal. And they're great at stopping the pass, which is the one thing Wake Forest can do. So for me, plus 3.5 Wake, nah, son, I'm taking Louisiana plus 3.5 all day in this one. That's it. Next. TCU in Kansas. Kansas is 1.5 point favorite. You see what happened. SMU scored 66 on TCU. That's hilarious. Let's look at the schedules. You can see what they've done. UCF and SMU got them both before that. Easier games. Kansas, what they've done, they've faced a little bit harder games. So I would say pop back. All right. So TCU can throw the ball. Kansas is decent at stopping it. Kansas is decent all around when it comes to defense. TCU cannot stop the run. Kansas is really good at running the ball. They can stop the pass, but Kansas don't throw the ball, so that doesn't help them. So yeah, that alone right there makes me want to take Kansas, and it's at home. And TCU get 66 to SMU. Yeah, easy peasy lemon squeezy. We're going to take Kansas -1.5 at home next. Colorado, UCF. Let's pop to the schedules. We see what Colorado's been up to. Won in that wild overtime game against Baylor last week. UCF got TCU literally 2 weeks ago, so they're coming off a bye. So Malzahn's had 2 weeks to prep for Dion. I wonder what's going to happen here. And we can see, let's look at some strengths. Colorado cannot run the ball. That's the one thing UCF is really good at stopping because they can't stop the pass. So Shedeur is going to have a field day tossing that tater around. UCF can run the ball, but that's the one thing Colorado can't stop. So the two strengths for the offenses are going against weaknesses for the defenses. That's all I need to see. Over 61.5. Both teams, this is going to be a shootout. It's just a scream shootout, doesn't it? So for me, I don't care about the side. UCF 14 does seem kind of high. If anything, maybe plus 14 because Shadour's going to throw the ball. This number here versus that number, yeah, I'm taking Colorado's pass offense all day. So, but I'm going to take over 61.5 next. Fresno State UNLV, we can see what the numbers are, but first let's look at the games. We can see what UNLV has done. They beat Kansas last time out, we saw them. And then Fresno lost to Michigan, but then they rattled off 3 wins in a row. So let's go over to the numbers, shall we? We can see that UNLV cannot throw the ball, but Fresno's pretty decent here. Now, UNLV's quarterback was obviously in the news. The backup supposedly is going to be a big difference because the backup might actually throw the ball, and there's a lot of people think the backup's a better runner too. So why was he the backup? Who knows? So this is a fun one because I don't trust this one at all. I don't know what to take. I don't know what to do in this one. Both defenses look good. Offenses have spotty things. We need to see what UNLV's offense looks like with the new quarterback. We need to see what they can do. So I need 1 week to evaluate them. UNLV, trouble saying it. This is a pass for me. We're going to move on to the next one. San Diego State, Central Michigan. Let's look at some schedules first. Nothing. They got blew up by Illinois. The rest I don't really care about. San Diego State, SLATE has not played. I mean, they lost to Oregon State 21-0 and 31-10 to Cal. Okay, cool. Let's look at the stats. A lot of red for San Diego State. They're 1-2. Central Michigan is only favored by 2, but their offense is actually be able to do things. They cannot stop the run, and Central Michigan's 40th in the run. So now they're at home hosting San Diego State. San Diego State can stop the pass, but I mean, Central Michigan is a very balanced team, as you can see. Turnover-wise, 130th. That's crazy. They need to secure the ball better. Defensively, yeah, I'm taking Central Michigan by 2 at home here. I don't think this is going to be close. Give me Central Michigan -2 next. Georgia Southern, Georgia State. We see the numbers. We see who's doing what. Georgia State's off a bye. Georgia Southern got beat up by Ole Miss. No green on the board. It's all mustard ketchup. So let's look at the schedules. We can see what they've done. Georgia State beat Vanderbilt last time out somehow. Yeah, so at home they beat Vandy. Why Vandy was there, I don't get it. Georgia Southern got beat up by Ole Miss. So that's about what you need to know. And Boise, they gave Boise a good game at the first start of the year, but it's gone downhill. Let's look at the numbers. Georgia State at home by 3. The numbers as they speak. The defense is absolute garbage for Georgia Southern, and Georgia State's rush defense is actually kind of good, which doesn't help because Georgia Southern can't run the ball. So they both can throw the ball, and both passes is terrible. So it's 58.5. We're going to lean on that. We're going to lean on the defense is sucking. We're going to take the over 58.5 next. Western Michigan and Marshall. Let's look at their schedules first. Marshall got destroyed by Ohio State last week. And then we see Western Michigan. They got drilled by Ohio State the week before that. So, and then they actually gave Wisconsin a decent game week 1. So let's look at their numbers. Again, mustard ketchup all over the board. Both teams are decent at running the ball, and both teams can't stop the run. Marshall is better at stopping the pass. Western Michigan can't stop nothing. So for me, the main thing I see is that both teams will be able to move the ball, but that tells me they're going to run a lot, which means they're probably going to be an underplay. But other than that, no, it's got to be that. So under 54.5 is the play. That's what I'm going with, because I think both teams are going to run. They'll have a little bit of success, but as you see, not much success because they're not that great at running. So under 54.5, I don't trust the side. Next. Akron, Ohio, this game is trash. Look at all this. There's so much red. There's barely any mustard. Wow, terrible. Okay, so Ohio's good at one thing, and that's running the ball, and Akron can't stop it. Akron's kind of good at stopping the pass. Ohio's kind of good at stopping the run. That's all you need to know there. Looking at the stats, who's done who and who's played who, you can see Kentucky beat up on Ohio. Akron got beat up on by South Carolina. Both teams are garbage. Don't put your hard-earned money on games like this. There's better games to bet on. Just pass, move on to the next one. All right, Eastern Michigan, Kent State. Kent State is the worst team in the country. Let's just be honest. Let's just say what it is. They're 0-4. I'm surprised they're actually only 64th in turnover. Eastern Michigan's 14th, but still, I would not touch a game involving Kent State, especially Eastern Michigan. This is the game. They're both on bye next week. Let's look at their schedule. I can't do it. Kent State has been destroyed by everybody, including the last 2 games. Eastern, you see what they did. You can see their games. Cool. I can't touch it. I'm not putting my money on games like this. And if you want to, sure, have fun. I'm not. Pass next. All right, interesting one. UNC and Duke. If this was basketball, it'd be cool, but this is football. It's a little different. Matt Brown quit and then not quit last week after the absolute terrible showing against James Madison. So who knows what's going to happen? Duke as 4-0. Duke's only 2.5-point favorites. So let's look at the schedules real quick before we come back to the numbers. Duke's 4-0. There's a schedule. It hasn't been tough. UConn, Middle Tennessee, Northwestern, easy games. UNC got thumped by James Madison, but they beat the rest of their easy schedule too. So we come back, we see who's good at what. Duke can't run the ball. He can stop it. Duke can kind of throw the ball, but yeah, the numbers for there aren't the best either. So the question is, do we get a motivated UNC, or do we get a deflated UNC that gave up 70 points last week? I have no clue. This is one of those ones where I don't know what the hell's going to happen. So it's smart. We have 50 games. Pick another game to bet on. Pass. Next. All right, UTSA and East Carolina. Let's look at what they've done. ECU has struggled against App State. Well, they almost beat them, and Liberty got them by 11. UTSA is 2-2 as well. They lost to Texas State by 39. Ooh. But they beat their other games. So let's look at this. We have ECU by 3. Both teams cannot run, and both teams can stop the run, so that doesn't help. ECU is better at throwing the ball than them, and their defense cannot stop the pass. So I can see why ECU's 3. I think I like that. It's just because the numbers, they're pretty much identical to each other. They line up nicely with each other. I'm going to take ECU -3 at home on this one, and we're going to move on to the next game. Mississippi State, Texas, #1 Texas. Let's look at the schedules real quick, see what they've done. Texas has beat up on everyone they played. That hasn't had a close game yet. Mississippi State has had a rough season. Florida beat you by 17. Arizona State beat you. Toledo beat the hell out of you at home. It's just a rough game it's rough for Mississippi State out there. Just feel bad for them. Not really, but this is rough. You can see it's a 37.5-point favorite. That is hilariously huge. The defense is there. The numbers are just, wow. That is a vast, crazy difference in numbers. All right, so Mississippi State can kind of throw the ball, but Texas is good at stopping it. They can't do anything. I mean, under 59.5. They're both going to a bye week. Is Mississippi State going to score? I don't know if they are. If anything, Mississippi State team total under, maybe? Yeah, let's go under 59.5 and see something like last week's Monroe game, 51-3, but it might be like the 38-10 final. So we'll go under 59.5 next. All right, Old Dominion, Bowling Green. Bowling Green's the best 1 and 2 team in the country. I don't care what anyone says, because their last 2 games against Penn State and A&M. Here, let me show you. This is what they've done. They kept both of them within 1 score and then fought them. And then Old Dominion got lost by 20 to Virginia Tech, lost to both Carolinas. So Old Dominion's having a rough start to the season. Let's look over here. Old Dominion can't do anything at all. They can kind of stop the pass, which is fine because Bowling Green's pretty good at everything, and they played much better opponents. Bowling Green 10.5 feels like a gift. It feels like it should be way higher, which makes me a little concerned. So I'm still taking it. I'm going to take BG -10. I know 10's out there because I can see it on my board right now. Do we have a 9.5 though? That's a good question. If we have one of those, that'd be great. I'm not seeing one. So, okay, I'll take a 10. Yeah, 10's fine. It'll probably move a good bit, but I'll take BG -10. That's good for this one. Next. All right, La Tech and FIU. Just a trash offense, but pretty good defense. So let's look over the schedules, see who's done what. FIU is 1-3. They lost to Monmouth. They lost. FIU beat them by 18. Central Michigan, they got a win somehow. I don't know how they did that. La Tech, you see what they've done. They lost to Tulsa in overtime, and they had a big lead against NC State and choked it away. So let's come back here. Both teams are decent at throwing the ball, but FIU can't stop the throw. They're 84th. They're in the red. That ain't good. And they definitely can't stop the run, but it ain't worried because La Tech can't run the ball anyways. But they can play defense. They're good at defense. So La Tech 2.5 is what I'm going to rock with. We're going to take that. Move on. Next. Wagner FAU is a pass for me, but I'll show you what I got here. So you can see the numbers, what they've done. They're 1-3. They got their ass beat by UConn last week. Let's look at their schedule. FAU, they beat FIU by 18. They lost to Army, which is actually kind of respectable because Army's 4-0. Rank Army, you cowards. Michigan State by 6. So, and Wagner's FCS, they're 2-2. They lost to Lehigh by a lot, and they lost to Robert Morris. So you can see what they've done. So if you feel like taking FAU against an FCS team by 31.5, by all means, have fun. I'm not. Next. And here's another FCS matchup, UT Martin, Kennesaw State. Let me show you their schedules because why not? They are 0-3. They have not played. They're coming off a bye. You can see what they've done. It hasn't been good. And then UT Martin is 1-3 themselves, and they have not been good either. So, okay, if you want to take Kennesaw by 1.5 against UT Martin at home, because this is Kennesaw State's numbers, by all means, enjoy. I mean, we might have an FCS upset in this one, which is it really an upset when you're only a 1.5 point dog? I don't know, but I'm not going to pay to find out. Next. Ohio State, Michigan State. Ohio State's favored by 23.5 after thumping Marshall. First road game for them. You can see the numbers have been pretty good, but they've been at home every time. Michigan State 3-1, lost to Boston College in the red bandana game. You have to lose that game. It's a rule. You just have to. So we don't hold that against you, Michigan State. So look at the schedule. We can see what they've done. They 3-point win, 6-point win. I mean, all the games are close except for the FCS one. Ohio State. Marshall scored some points. Akron got 6. Western Michigan got nothing. So no real challenge yet. Ohio State. So now we have to look at matchups. Ohio State's offense is great. Defense is great. 23 seems, to be honest, kind of low. Styles is going to have a rough day. I'm just saying it. I think he's going to have a really bad day. So I know it's 23. I'm taking it. I don't care. Ohio State minus 23.5. It might be that at halftime. I'm just saying. It's just one of those games. It feels like it. So we're going to take that next. Stanford, Clemson, and boy, has Clemson woke up and figured out how to play football after getting their ass beat by Georgia. I mean, seriously, look at the schedule. Georgia got them, but then App State, they beat them by 46, and NC State got beat down too. Stanford had that close game with TCU, and then Cal Poly, they whooped their ass, and then Syracuse, they got the win. So Stanford's a lot better than people think. But, I mean, Clemson is like, to me, Clemson might be the scariest team to play right now because they are just on fire. So look at the numbers. You can see they can't stop the passing. Clemson's good at passing the ball. That's one thing. Other than that, we don't need anything else. They can't do. So Clemson's defense is kind of eh. So for me, I lean Clemson 21.5, but then the wild side of me thinks, well, maybe Stanford gets some points on this not so good ranked Clemson defense here. So maybe over 57.5's the play. That's what I'm gonna go with. Over 57.5 next. Iowa State and Houston. Houston, absolutely terrible offensively. Iowa State is favored by 16 for a reason. Let's look at their schedules. Houston has only beat Rice since he shut them out. Oklahoma got them. Everyone thought, oh, it's going to be great. And now Cincy is, yeah, that was a 3-point spread too. That was beautiful. Iowa State is 3-0, and they're whooping up on teams. They made the comeback on Iowa. So let's look over at their stats. Offensively, Iowa State can do things. Houston's defense is actually pretty decent at things. Iowa State's run defense is not good, but it don't matter because Houston can't do nothing on that side of the ball. So that side of the ball is going to have low scoring. Iowa State, I don't think it's going to do much, but I still think they win by at least 2-3 scores, but I don't know if they're going to hit 43.5 points. So for me, I want to take the under 43.5 in this one because I just think it's going to keep dropping. We're going to hit 42, 41.5 here shortly. So give me 43.5 under next game. Monroe and Troy. Look at all this red. A little bit of green, mostly red. Let's look at some schedules. You can see Troy finally got a win over Florida A&M. Before that, they've not been good. Monroe is 2-1. They beat Jackson State and UAB. They beat the hell out of UAB. And then Texas beat them by a lot. So let's look at some numbers. Terrible. Pretty good on third down, but if you can't get the yards, what's third down matter really? So yeah, Monroe's defense looks better, but this is just a trash game. I just can't touch this. These teams are just not good. So I have a lot of other bets. I'm passing on this one next. Charlotte and Rice, another just terrible matchup. So much red. There's actually surprising there's a green on the screen for Rice. Like, okay, you're really good at pass defense. Okay, the one thing Charlotte's actually decent at, you can shut down. That's hilarious. Let's look at their schedules. You could see 1-3 for Rice. Nothing's been close. Texas Southern, come on. Charlotte, you beat Gardner-Webb by 1. You're terrible too. These two teams are trash. This is a garbage game. Don't even waste the money that the power bill will take to power your TV to watch this game. That's how bad this is. Leave this game completely alone. Next, pass. All right, Tulsa, North Texas, a little bit better now. So we got a little bit better matchup. Both defenses cannot stop the pass. North Texas is really good at passing the ball. So that's not going to be good for Tulsa. North Texas might be able to just Just deep bomb all day, exploit, exploit, exploit. Let's look at the schedule. What have they done? You're 3-1. Your loss to Texas Tech. Okay, that happens. High scoring affair. Cool. Tulsa, you were 2-2. You lost to Arkansas State. I can see why you lost to Oklahoma State, but okay. For me, I'm already liking North Texas 6.5. They beat the hell out of Wyoming. Tulsa struggled with La Tech, but a 3-point win. I don't trust that 68.5. I know both defenses are not good. These numbers kind of worry me for Tulsa. I think they'll get some points. I don't know if I can get 69 points worth, but I do like the fact of this number versus this number. So I'm going to go North Texas 6.5 next. All right, game of the week, probably game of the month, hell, game of the year, who knows? Georgia, Bama, everyone and mama talking about it. You can see the numbers. Let's look at what they've done first. Bama has beat up on Western Kentucky, South Florida. That game was much closer than that score looks. Wisconsin, that game could have been ugly. Georgia struggled against Kentucky. Both teams off buys, and they beat up on Clemson, who looks amazing now. So what do we have? Looking at this, like I said, they're both off buys. Georgia's won at the time of filming this, but it has been flip-flopping back and forth between Bama one and Georgia one. So you can get numbers on both sides. So it's been moving all over the place. Let's look at the things. Georgia cannot run the ball very well, which is the only thing Bama's defense ain't that good at stopping. That's kind of funny. Bama can't really pass that much because Milroe runs more. We know this, but they're passing. They don't have the middle passes. We know he deep bombs and runs, and that's what they do. There's no middle of the field play. That's what they do. Georgia's pass defense is number 1. So Bama's pass defense is number 7. So, but apparently a lot of people said you can exploit Bama's defense if you could throw it deep, but no one's been able to yet. We'll see if Bet can do that. Looking at the numbers and everything here, this is Bama's at home. This is the whole question. What are they going to do? Saban's gone. Now it's DeBoer. Is Georgia just because of Saban, or is it because they just can't beat Bama in general? So you got all these questions you got to ask. Turnover is a big thing. 0 for Bama in 2024, and Georgia's only at 1 per game. So, I mean, to me, this game is really a pick'em. And the fact that I can get Bama +1 right now, that's what I'm going to take. Bama +1. I'm not going to touch the over a 50.5 because these numbers right here worry me. Both top 10 when it comes to pass defense. Run defense, not so much. Bama run defense, run offense versus Georgia rush defense might be the biggest story. It's mainly going to be Milroe's legs getting onto the outside like he does. Maybe Jam Miller, maybe the other guy, I cannot remember his name, but you know who it is. So those are the main things. I'm taking Bama +1 next. Illinois and Penn State matchup versus ranked matchup. So let's look at what they've done. Penn State, 3 games, 3-0. West Virginia, Bowling Green, Kent State, nothing to worry about there. Illinois had to go to overtime in Nebraska, but they got it done last week. So now they're on the road at Penn State. Back-to-back road games. Ain't what you want to do in college, but hey, there you are. So we see the numbers. Penn State's numbers look amazing, but they're a 20-point favorite. Damn, that's a lot of points. This was just 17, literally like early this morning. Now it's 19.5. I mean, all right, okay. Their defense is there. Defense looks good here. 49, not 19. 49 pass defense. I don't know if Penn State has the ability to pass that much. They only 282. I still lean Illinois plus points on the road. Bielema's been talking shit a little bit, which is hilarious. It is the whiteout. I get it. But Bielema's talking shit about the whiteout too, so I don't know. If anything, if the coach is talking shit, James Franklin might want to talk shit back, and the way he's going to talk shit back is run up the score. So I think the move is go with my initial gut instinct. This is one of those games where the stats don't. The spread's 20 points, so the stats aren't going to be close anyways, obviously. So I'm going to go with Illinois on the road plus 19.5. If I can get 20, 21 by kickoff, please let me get them because. Illinois is not a bad team. I think they keep it closer, and I don't think we'll see what happens. We'll see. I'm going to take the Illinois plus points next. All right, Middle Tennessee and Memphis. There's a lot of red on one side of that screen, hence the reason the spread's 26. Let's see what they've done. Memphis, 3-1. You lost to Navy. You get 56 points to Navy. That is crazy. I expect the defense to be a little bit better coming out because they've been pretty good this year, except for this Navy game. That is wild. And then we look at Middle Tennessee, see what they've done. They're 1-3, and they just haven't looked good against anybody. Come over to the numbers. There's nothing There's not a single matchup that favored Middle Tennessee here. It's all Memphis. Is it Memphis by 26 though? That's the thing. I think this could easily be a 35-3 final. Easily. So Middle Tennessee's not good. There's nothing they really do good. Like the one thing they do good is pass the ball. That's the one thing Memphis defense can shut down, even with the bad time last time. So it seems crazy, but I'm going to take this Memphis 26 spread. It seems high, but it's at home. I think Middle Tennessee has a rough day. They might only get like 3 or 7 points. Now, if Middle Tennessee comes out and just punches in the mouth, then hey, I'll take a loss on it, but whatever. I'll take Memphis 26 next. South Alabama, LSU. South Alabama's numbers are inflated because of that 87-point game they had. And then they beat App State 48-14. South Alabama's offense is clicking. Let's look at what they've done. LSU they lost to USC, obviously. Then they beat Nichols, South Carolina, and UCLA. South Alabama 87-10, 48-14. They lost to North Texas and Ohio. The defense is just, I don't know. And now the offense is showing up out of nowhere. So let's pop back over here. LSU's pass defense is 96. Not good against South Alabama, who likes to throw that ball. So they're probably going to get some points. 65.5 is a total for a reason. 20.5 is the spread. LSU can't run the ball, and that's the one thing South Alabama's good at. They're good at passing, but South Alabama can't stop the pass. And then let's just be honest, LSU is going to have natural athletes out there that are going to overpower South Alabama's athletes all day. So, yeah, I don't want to take. Yeah, for this one, we're gonna be taking I'm leaning LSU 20.5 just because it looks like a trap line because of it, but I think I like 20.5, and I kind of like that over 65.5. So, now we'll just take LSU 20.5. LSU 20.5 next. All right, Florida State, SMU. Florida State red in almost every category, well, every category offense, and most of them on red. So, let's look at what they've done. We all know Florida State's schedule. We've been laughing at it. 1-3 with the 14-9 win over Cal. SMU is 3-1. They lost to BYU by 3, which now looks impressive because BYU's been amazing. So, and then they beat up on TCU 66 points. Got them an iron skillet. Yes, they did. Let's pop back over here. It's SMU by 6 at home. They can run the ball. Florida State can't stop the run. Yeah, Florida State's going to be in a long game here. It's a road game. No more friendly confines of the home field. So, yeah, I don't care. I'm taking SMU -6. If I lose, I lose. Whatever. Give me SMU -6 next. Cincinnati, Texas Tech. Let's look at their records. Texas Tech is 3-1. Their loss to Washington State was not a good loss either. That was about 21. Cincy is 3-1. Their loss is to Pitt by 1. Wild game there. And then they beat Houston 34-0 last time out. Let's look at the numbers. Cincy's been on fire offensively. Both teams offensively. Defense, neither team can stop a pass. And they're both, Texas Tech's really good at passing the ball. Cincy 35th. So, though I expect points there from both of those. Both teams are good at running the ball. Cincy, yeah, 59.5 is a total for a reason. I like that for the over. Yeah, I think pass or run, both teams are going to have success. So give me the over 59.5 in this one, and we'll sit back and watch that hit by halftime probably, hopefully. So over 59.5 next. I'm surprised they're playing this game this early, but it's New Mexico versus New Mexico State. New Mexico's 8.5. New Mexico State is red in every category, but third down defense, hilariously enough. Let's look over at what they've done. This is going to be a pass for me, I'm going to tell you right now, because these numbers are not good. And then these numbers are not good either. So, but there you go. Here you go. If you really want to bet New Mexico 8.5 or 53.5 and look at the stats, you do have a little bit of offensive success for New Mexico, but then that's about it. So you could take that, but this is a rivalry game. Who knows what happens in rivalry games? If anything, I want to take New Mexico State plus 8.5 because look at this. This is a disgusting, dirty, nasty game. I'm passing on it. You should too. Next. All right, Air Force and Wyoming, another disgusting game. I'm just telling you it is. Let me show you what they've been up to. Wyoming is 0-4, and only the Idaho FCS Idaho game was a close loss. Ooh, Wyoming's in a world of pain. Air Force is 1-2. Their win is against Merrimack. So, just like the last game, this game is disgusting. I mean, if you want to take Air Force, they are favored by 3.5. Wyoming is absolute dog shit. They are just terrible. Air Force should, I mean, yeah, they can run. We know they can't pass. It's Air Force. They can run the ball. Wyoming can't really stop the run. Hell, you know what? This game is disgusting, but I think I'm going to take Air Force. I'm going to take Air Force just because we know what they're going to do, and Wyoming can't stop the run. So Air Force -3.5. Can I get 3? 3 out there right now. Let me take a look. Air Force, 4 is out there, not 3s. Okay, so 3.5 it is. I'll take Air Force 3.5 next. Washington State, Boise State. Boise is 6.5 point favorite. Lots of green on the offense, lots of red on the defense. Let's look at what they've done. Boise is 2-1 with the loss being a 3-point loss to Oregon. Washington State is 4-0 with a 52-54 double overtime win against San Jose. Wild game. I was asleep for it, sadly. I'm sad I missed it. I woke up to highlights. It was great. Let's see. Let's go with the numbers. Defense is not there for either team. We know Boise's going to run the ball. That's what they're good at. They have a Heisman dude, and they're not that good. I mean, if anything, that's the best thing they can do is stop the run, but they suck at it too. Oh, yeah, 65.5. Let's just go ahead and throw that over up there. I mean, this might be one of those ones you can get a live bet of 100. So over 65.5 in this one. Thanks for the free points. Next. All right, Arizona, Utah. This has the full reminiscence of a Pac-12 after dark, even though it's not Pac-12, obviously. It's going to live on forever. So this feels like one of those matchups that weird things are going to happen. So because you see the numbers, what they do, let's look at their history. Utah is 4-0. You see their games, what they've done. Arizona is 2-1. They lost to K-State last time out, and then they had a bye week. So now they're ready. And we can see... You're good at passing the ball. You're good at this defense overall. It's Utah. We know their defense is good. You're good at running the ball, and you're not good at stopping the run. So right there, Utah, yeah, I like that. But like I said, this game has a feel like it could be some weird Pac-12 after dark type stuff. And Arizona's off a bye. So I lean Utah, but something is telling me to leave this game alone. And sometimes in betting, you got to go with your instincts. And something says leave it alone, you leave it alone. We're going to pass, move on to the next one. Last game, best game. Just kidding, this last game. Oregon at UCLA. The game's going to start off like super late. I mean, whatever. We have Oregon by 25.5. Lots of O's on the screen, lots of red for UCLA, and lots of green for Oregon. Another game, that little Pac-12 after darkness. It's still weird, but let's look at what they've done. UCLA is 1-2. They're 1 over Hawaii, and then Indiana LSU beat them up. Oregon is 3-0. Obviously what they've done, 3-point win over Boise, big win, and then they're both coming off bye weeks. No, sorry, just Oregon off a bye week, UCLA off the LSU beatdown. So 25.5 feels right. It feels good. They can't stop the pass. Oregon 16th in passing. They can stop the run, but Oregon doesn't run that much. They can only pass, and they're they're good at stopping the pass. So it sounds like a crazy play, but I'm taking Oregon minus 25.5 because everything's lining up in this one, and that's what I want to do. So we're going to take Oregon 25.5 and call it a day right there. And lastly, the Liberty App State game is still canceled. Nothing else has been canceled yet. So we go back to the top. That is it. I broke down 52 Saturday games, and we did it under 49 minutes. That is great. Love that. Well under an hour. I thought it was going to be at an hour. So love that. Now some of these lines will obviously move. I'm filming this on Friday. The games are tomorrow. Lines are going to go up and down. So if you see the number, if you like it, take what you like. Don't just take it because I take it. Do the research on your own. Figure out if you like it or not. If you want a full list of plays, the members get that. You have to join the HQ. You can join that many ways. You get a full typed out list. You can see every play, and then you'll see the parlays and everything I take too, because I like to have a little fun. I sprinkle parlays, little lotto tickets over there. I have fun on Saturday. So you got to be a member though to see that. Other than that, I appreciate you watching. Drop a like, subscribe if you haven't. Let me know in the comments what your favorite play is, and we'll be back for more college picks next week. Peace.